Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape,
vinyl tape, carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. I am your host, Kevin Wortham. Listen, I am so excited. We're going to bring this brother here. He's like from my second home from Pittsburgh. Brother Edgar, welcome to the platform, man. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Kevin?
I am doing well, man. So before we get started, we want to give a shout out to Brother Kevin Smith. He was instrumental, and he was the one that suggested that I reach out to you and talk to you. He said that you were the man.
I'm just one of them, brother.
All right. So how long have you been in Pittsburgh?
Pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
Born and raised in Pittsburgh. Jumped off the porch. We that's a saying that we use on a street called Bloomaway. It's
Okay.
no longer a way, but it's Bloomaway. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know about Bloomaway.
Well, tell me, so I went to school in Pittsburgh, so that's like my second home. But I've never heard of that street. Now, where's that street located?
Well, that's in between Bedford Avenue and Webster. It's like an alleyway, but it was a street with houses and things of that nature. Way back when. Bloomaway.
Is that in the Hill District?
In the Hill District. I'm from the Hill District. Yes, I am.
Come on, man. That's my spot. I used to be up there when I had hair. I used to go up there to Ham's Barbershop.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I know about Ham's. Let me tell you a little story about the Hill District.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
I grew up, I was raised on Bloomaway, moved to Bedford Avenue, and I used to see this older guy, go to the library.
Yes.
On Wiley.
Yes.
And I didn't know who he was. Later on, I found out that was August Wilson. So I used to see August Wilson go to the library and probably write his plays and things of that nature.
Get out at the Wiley Library.
And know what? Coming full circle, now I'm a poet.
Wow.
Yeah, man. You see how fate happened?
Yes.
Yeah, we're from the same place, but at different time.
Wow. Now, when you write, are you writing about Pittsburgh sometimes?
I have a few poems about Pittsburgh, specifically the Hill District.
Yes.
Yes. I write about the Hill District, where I was born and raised and reared. And this is another fact that you may not know. I graduated from Pitt as well.
Come on.
Yep, graduate school. Yep, wow. 92, class of 92.
Wow, because I graduated 87. Wow. So this is, small world. So now let me ask this question before we really jump into it.
Okay.
What was so interesting for you about the Hill District that you wanted to write about it?
Oh man, Hill District is where, man, there's no pity in this city, no friends in the neighborhood. Wherever you want to find in the Hill District, you can find it.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
the Hill District has so many legends. You have Wiley Avenue, you have Heron Avenue, you have Center Avenue.
Yes.
And I grew up on the rough side, so you know, I seen a lot and I did a little.
I just thought the Hill District was just rough anyway, but I enjoyed that, brother.
Oh man, I mean, you were right down the street from Robinson Court and Warren Court and Burroughs and Bentley Drive, Whiteside Road. That was my hey. If you grew up in the Hill District, you knew a few things. You knew how to hustle.
Yes.
You knew how to fight.
Yes.
And you knew a little bit about being slick.
Now, where did you do your undergrad?
Tuskegee University in Alabama.
And so, why did you want to go there for your undergrad?
Well, actually, let me just digress. In high school, I played football, and I played it at a high level.
Yes.
And but I'm only 5'9".
Okay.
And, yeah, and a lot of schools didn't take a chance on me.
Understood.
And Tuskegee, long story short, Tuskegee took a chance on me, so I went down there to play football. And it turns out that I fell in love with mathematics.
Okay.
And that was my first love, and I ended up getting a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Tuskegee University. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yep.
That's all right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So let's start all over again, right?
Okay.
So when did the love of writing kick in for you? Or you were always a writer?
I was always a fluent communicator.
Yes.
But and as you can see, I have a degree in mathematics and art, and I have an art background in poetry and things of that nature. I could draw.
Yes.
And I was one of those type of guys that could use both sides of the brain.
Okay.
But I didn't know I had a gift in poetry until later on in life.
Okay.
And it was revealed in my 40s.
Yes.
Do you want to hear the story?
Come on, man. We got the time, brother. We got the time.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. Let me tell you about the story. All right. You know how relationships goes through peaks and valleys,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So in this particular relationship, we were going through a valley.
Yes.
And at that time, I'm trying to figure out how can I fix it, because I know it's me.
Yes.
So, it was a month out of it was in January, and it was like almost a month out of before Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And I said, well, how can I make a big splash? Maybe I'll get her a couple dozen of roses. But I was like, well, it's detached. Roses is nice and they smell good, but eventually they'll die because they're detached from their source. And then I said, well, how about a Hallmark card? And I was like, yeah, well, they could get close to what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
But it's not coming from brother folk.
Yes.
So it's somebody else's thoughts and precepts and concepts. So I said, well, how about chocolate candy? Women, I know, that'll make a splash because everybody loves chocolate candy.
Yes.
In particular, women. I was like, no. And then it just hit me. Edgar, sit down and write her a letter.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and I said, no, what? I'm going to write her a poem. So this is the first time, honestly, that I sat down to write poetry. And one poem turned into 20 poems. 20 poems turned into my first book, A Sample of Me.
Wow.
And I wrote it within 30 days, my first book, and she absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Needless to say, we're no longer together, but the gift was revealed.
Yes, sir.
And 16 books later, I'm keeping it moving. Yeah.
So
that's how.
So while you were writing these books, I mean these poems, were you ever thinking that when I finish, I'm going to put them into a book?
No, you know what? I wasn't validated because the gift hit me so fast. I had to. I was looking for validation, so I would ask, "What you think about these poems?" I was going around asking folks, and I got to English majors, and they was like, "Oh, you write in this style? You write?" Because keep in mind, I never taken up until that point a creative writing class or
Yes.
things of that nature. I was pure mathematics
Yes.
in undergrad and education in graduate school. And when I presented it to the quote unquote professionals, they was like, "Man, this stuff is you, this is nice. This is
Yes.
you have a gift." So that validated me, and then 10 years later, I started publishing books. So
Wow.
it took a lot of validation
Yes.
for me to go out on it to the next level.
And so in your writing at that time, right?
Hmm.
Were you thinking? Was it feeling like I've got something, or you were just writing because it was cathartic, and you were just trying to write for this young lady at that time?
The latter. I was just
Yeah.
trying to present my love language, and
Yes.
I was trying to give her a sample of me, like
Yes.
my first book, the
Now,
topic of my first book,
now, now,
and
now, how did she
so
respond to to your writings, your letters?
she melted.
Okay.
It was like butter on a hot roll.
All right, then
She melted.
I'm gonna need you to write some stuff for me, brother.
You know what? It's
Yes.
like Prego. It's
Yeah.
in the book. I got 16. All you
Yeah.
have to do is
Yeah.
grab one.
Yeah. Wow. So now,
Yeah.
when we first started, we had mentioned August Wilson. Now he's got a
Yeah.
there is if my memory serves me correctly, they just recently opened the August Wilson House or or
Oh
or
well,
library.
actually, his home
His home,
is a
yes,
historical landmark, and
yes,
I used to walk right past his home. And my family. Yeah, I talked to my elders, my uncles and things. They was like, that was he used to hang out with my uncle Frank back in the day. They used to,
wow.
yeah, on Bedford Avenue. I don't want to tarnish his image. They used to drink wine together
Yeah.
and hang out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
Wine ain't bad, bro. You're not tarnishing anybody's English. Wine is wine,
okay.
not image, not English, but English image. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was cool, and they was they had stories about August Wilson,
Wow.
and here he is. He has a legacy out of this world. Yeah, they opened up his home. I think his nephew is doing a lot of things
Okay, because
with those projects. Yeah, and
because
they had the August Wilson Center as
yes,
well downtown Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
in a cultural center.
I believe one of my classmates, Janice Burley,
Okay.
I believe she's the executive director of that center.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
All right.
August Wilson, I believe, at one point was good friends with Rob Penny,
Okay.
and there used to be a theatrical course or class or program called Contu Repertoire Theater
Yes. Yes.
on
Yes.
University
Yes.
of Pittsburgh campus, and
Yes.
Dr. Vanell Lilly and Rob Penny would often present some of August Wilson's plays that Rob Penny had written.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had
Hmm.
I guess that screenwriter, that's
Yeah. It's
playwright.
also a gentleman named Mark Struthers who does a lot of his plays as well,
Yes,
and
yes.
he's from the Hill District. He matter of fact he's a lump of Tuskegee as well.
Wow. So we got to put
Yeah.
you in touch with Janice to make sure that some of your writings could be turned into plays, man, and let you come down there sometimes, man.
Man, that's one of my visions and my dreams.
Yeah.
I've won awards
Yes.
for my books and things of that nature. I've received letters from President Obama
Yes.
and a few things. Man, maybe that's a jump start. I would welcome that.
So your homework assignment for tomorrow, brother, is
Okay.
you're gonna reach out to Janice. Please
Okay.
mention my name, and let's see if we can't get you started in there doing some things, brother. Giving you some more exposure. I know you got a lot of exposure, but we're gonna give you some more exposure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So when you're writing, what does writing feel like for you?
Man, writing feels like love.
Okay.
It feels like it's like serenity.
Yes.
Yeah. When but it's a set time.
Yes.
If I don't use it, I lose it.
Okay.
So if say for example we're talking right now, if I get an idea concept, I got to put it on. I have to type it in.
And
I had hold on, Kevin. Hold on for a minute, Kevin.
Yeah.
Let me do this.
And then,
yeah.
and then you will work on that concept all night.
No.
No, okay.
I'll let it. I'll sit it there,
Yes.
and when I come back to it, I'll write enough that it'll come back to me,
Yes.
and then I'll hit it hard when when I put it into the book format.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Yeah. So it's like mental notes.
Now, I have a lot of folks that write books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're writing your book, or when the concept or when the thought comes to you, is it anything, or is it a particular feature, is it a particular location that you're thinking about, or the concept is about?
It could be a conversation.
Okay.
It could be a song. It could be a kiss.
Okay.
It could be a young lady who says, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's the way she says it.
Yes.
It could be a touch. It could be a touch. It could be a wind breeze.
Okay.
It could be a raindrop. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It just comes to me. It's a gift.
Okay.
And I try my best to exploit the gift to its fullest.
Because you know what they say, if you've got a gift and you don't use it, you will eventually lose it.
Yeah. Well, gifts and the callings of God goes without repentance.
Yes.
So it's something similar. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I am, man, I'm so fascinated. So when you're writing, right, are you in a zone?
Mm-hmm.
Do you close out the rest of the world and you just focus on that concept? Take me through that process.
Well, the trials of life.
Yes.
I have a full-time job,
Yes.
children, things of that nature. So I had to compartmentalize my time.
Yes.
And the writing part, believe it or not, is the easiest part because it's organic and it's free flowing.
Yes.
So when the publication and the process of developing a book is the hard part.
Okay.
But the writing, I have almost, let me see, you could call me the prince of writing because I have like almost 500 poems in my notepad right now.
That have never seen the light of day.
That never seen the light of day because I'm always writing.
Wow.
Exactly. So I don't know nothing about writer's block and all of that stuff.
Got you.
Because it's free flowing, and the only thing is my only limitations is if I don't write it down, it goes into cyberspace.
Yes.
And after I write it, I can't remember my poem. It's just done.
Understood.
And then I move to the next. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Now, when you go back to reread does it come back to you then, what you were feeling at that moment of the writing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And this is the unique part of the way I write.
Yes.
I write a poem, and then I write the philosophy behind the poem.
Oh, wow.
So, So if you pick up almost any of my books, excluding the first book, you'll not only receive a poem, but you'll receive the bigger picture, the philosophy of why I wrote the poem.
Yeah, like the backstory, The backstory.
Got I do that. Yeah,
Got
every
you.
poem I write, that's what I do.
Now, how many books have you written to this date?
Actually, I'm on book 17.
What?
I'm going through that. Yeah, I'm going through the editing component of book 17. Listen to this. Book 16 is over 600 pages, 600 poems. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wait.
And my book average like 230 poems per book. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Yeah.
crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
you are a prolific writer then.
Well, humble is the way.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you want a sample, you can go to Facebook, my page, and I post a poem like once every 2 weeks, and I do some other things on Facebook and other social platforms, so you can get a sample of what I do.
Now on Facebook, you're under your name,
Edgar Folks.
Okay.
Edgar Folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna check you out now, brother.
Check me out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, Edgar Folk, digital creator, owner of Folks. Is that you?
Yep, that's one component, but I have 3 pages. Okay. You could go to the page where you see me suited and booted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you now. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna follow you now, beloved.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I am following you now. Okay, this is great, man.
You can go through my page and I get hundreds of likes.
Yeah.
I'm like the best kept secret in Pittsburgh, man.
Listen. We're gonna try to blow it out today with this episode, man. So
okay.
My next question to you is, why would someone be interested in reading your books?
Well, like I said, it's organic.
Yes.
I don't know no one who that haven't been in love.
Yes.
Or who's coming from love or going towards love.
Yes.
And I talk about all those domains.
Okay.
Then I'm a brother of color that can express themselves.
Yes.
In a poetic form.
Yes.
That 90% of my clientele are women.
Okay.
So they enjoy this component immensely. Yes. I have over 5,000 followers on Facebook. I think 12,000 on IG.
Yes.
TikTok. So I really I also talk about social situations. Yes. And the plight of people, but yes. The majority of what I write is about various domains of love.
Got you. Now
from a male's perspective.
Yeah, I want to stop you for a second before we get back to that. When you say you write about social things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, recently, have you been writing about, since the pandemic and like the trauma that we as Black folks or people of color have been facing? Do you write about the trauma and the George Floyd and the social inequities? Do you ever write about stuff like that?
Oh yeah. I have a few poems about the plight of our people. Like I said, I went to a historically Black college, Tuskegee yes. University.
Yes.
Some say the best, but who am I to argue with them?
Yeah. Yes,
and I talk about, our situation as people.
Yes.
Inherently and externally.
Yes.
And so yes, I talk about that. Yes, I do.
One of the things that I find interesting, and I would think now you would just have a plethora of writing to do, because every day we as Black folks, we're discovering more about who we are, right? We're becoming more honest with ourselves, right?
Exactly.
And so oh my God. It's wow, it's fascinating. Wow, thank you. So during the pandemic, and we were watching the George Floyd, and we're watching all of that take place in front of us, right? What were some of your thoughts with our current living situation at that time and now?
You know what? It's funny you asked that because I just because I have a 15 and a 14-year-old,
Yes.
and I rushed to Amazon, and I'm always talking to them about the history,
Yes.
but I rushed to Amazon, and I think to reinvigorate or to reconfirm what I said, what I talked about,
Yes.
and my way of confirming what needs to be done
Yes.
is through education. So
Yes.
I went and got Marcus Garvey's biography, W.E.B. Du Bois, Richard
Yes.
Douglass, the Willie Lynch notes, 100 years of lynching, George Washington Carver, Carter G. Woodson's Miseducation of the Negro.
Yes.
So, and I told my children, I said, look, this is what we're going to do.
Yes.
Oh, don't let me forget about Booker T. Washington. I said, each week you're gonna read a book.
Yes.
And you're gonna submit a report. Okay? Because I want you to know. I want our history to be embedded in you.
Yes.
So you know who you are and whence you come from and your legacy.
Yes.
Your legacy didn't start in 1965
Yes.
or after our ancestors got off the boat.
Yes.
We go farther than that.
Yes, sir.
We talk about the Moors.
Okay.
And Egypt. And Egypt is in Africa.
Yes.
It's not in the Middle East.
Yeah, and for and for so many years, man, we were led to believe that Egypt was a separate continent, country, all of it by itself.
Yeah. And the continent of Africa is so much bigger than the continent of North America.
Yes, sir.
Come on, man. So that goes right back to Carter G. Woodson's The Miseducation of the Negro.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do my part.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my part. So that's how I try to combat that, and then I want them to come full force and see what's going on with our people right now.
Yes.
Good, bad, and indifferent.
Yes.
So they can understand and they can know, hey, we're more than just that.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, brother, you did, Edgar. You did, but
okay.
But I guess the other thought that comes to my mind, right, is
Mm-hmm.
just recently in Florida, they're trying to ban so many books, particularly those books that were of African American publishing.
Oh yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, people are scared.
Yes.
People are scared. I mean, you think that just because we're not tied up physically,
yes,
that they're not going to attack us mentally
absolutely,
and psychologically?
yes.
This is the long game.
Yes.
Look, this is chess. This isn't checkers.
Yes.
They've been doing, people have been doing this for years. And when I say this, oppression, depression.
Yes.
Yeah. In so many forms.
Yeah.
Now it's time for us to say, hey, we see what you're doing. And now it's time for us to move.
Yes.
And how are we going to move?
Yes.
Are we going to move in the same direction? Are we going to keep playing checkers while they're playing chess? Or are we going to, identify different things to say? And the other piece to this, and I wrote about this. See, when you try to oppress a people, you have to bend down.
Yes.
So your knees get dirty.
Yes.
And in addition to that, like a perfect example is this epidemic of drugs.
Yes.
In the 80s, it was crack cocaine. Now it's fentanyl.
Yeah.
And it's attacking people other than us.
Yes.
Now it's an epidemic.
Now it's an issue.
Back then,
now it's an issue. Yeah. Well,
lock them up and throw away the key. Back then, now it's so many programs so many programs to address it because it's their children.
Well, yeah, and just to follow up and give you an example, right? When that before it became an epidemic, right? As long as it was in the black communities and the depressed communities, right? It was no big deal. Let it stay in that backyard. But soon
Just say no to drugs.
But as soon as it started to affect them, now it's like, okay, let's get Narcan now. Let's make sure all of our officers carry Narcan. Like, wait, how come we couldn't get that, right? Because before, they was just jumping out of the cars, jumping on us and locking us up. Now, when the white folks got, well, let's jump on them, but let's give them Narcan, and they're free to go.
Exactly.
They're free to go.
Let's say their lives.
Yeah.
Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Now you can go to the drugstore with a prescription, or even I think it might be over the counter, and you can get Narcan now. Where was this when we were having it? So I get you, brother. I get you, right?
Yeah. And it's in real time. It's right in front of your face.
Yes, sir.
All you have to do is look at it
and
say, okay, now come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's move another direction.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to do it through education.
And that is one way to do it, right? The other way, I think, is through mentoring, which is another form of education within that educational realm. But mentoring, right? If you don't have the time to really teach someone, you have the time to spend some time with someone, just mentoring, just to make sure they've got the right morals and the right heading to go through life, right? And I say on my Entrepreneur Enclave page, right, which I want you to check out and follow. Is that what we do? Is I list quotes up there and business tips, and I put down all of the episodes where I've interviewed persons. But I also say to the people, spend time. It's as a do now. Spend time sharing your gifts with a younger person. So that some of the traps and trials and tribulations that you've gone through, they won't go through.
Kevin, are you familiar with 100 Black Men?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I'm a part of that.
Okay, good.
My children are as well.
Excellent.
So exactly.
Yeah, man. So now, do people often ask you to come out and speak about some of your books?
Oh, all the time. Okay. Well, let me say this. Before COVID, I used to go everywhere and do book sales and things of that nature.
Yes.
Now, keep in mind, I've written 17 books.
Yes.
From 2014 until now. So
wow.
I'm not talking about a long time. Yeah, so it's been like in a 10-year span.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, I go to different places and venues and do presentations, spoken word, things of that nature. Yeah, I'm open to all of that.
I love it, man. I love it. Now the people in Pittsburgh who know you, how do they respond to you?
Well, a lot of people I grew up with, they never knew that, that I had a gift like this.
Yes.
And it's like, I'll give you a perfect example. There's one guy I grew up with. We used to box together.
Yes.
Charlie Daniels, back in the day. And he said, hey, man, look, I used some of your poems. Keep in mind, he never bought a book.
Yeah.
I used some of your poems, and he wrote this on Facebook. I used some of your poems with a young lady, and I hit jackpot.
Yes.
And then I felt bad, and I told her it was your stuff, and she was like, "That was great." So that's a backdoor compliment. Compliment, but when I go to the barber shop, I get honorable mentions all the time, man. Yes, they may not say they like it on Facebook, but when I see them face to face, man, I get hugs and love and things of that nature. I call myself a D-list celebrity
Yeah.
in the
in the inner city.
in the inner city. You know, it's just so hard. It's just so hard. I have 17 books out, 16 published books,
Yes.
and you know, I would think, you know, as much love that I receive, that they would buy some of these books.
Yeah. Well,
you know, so
we're gonna have to help you change that, man, because that's another thing we've got to do. You know, right? Within the Black community, we've got to do so much better in terms of supporting one another in our endeavors, in our passions, right? Now, I got a question for you, right? With all the trauma that we as Black folks are going through, do you write about that?
Well, yeah, I do. I do. I do. I have a few poems that I talk about are self-inflicted situations, and I also talk about how, you know, what's happening in society. You know, police, you know, brutality. You know, art brutality on one-on-one, black on black.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, man, I talk about that all the time.
Now, the last time I was in Pittsburgh, I think was right before the pandemic, and I noticed that the Hill District was going through a lot of gentrification, right?
Unbelievable.
There was a bar that I would it was always my second stop, because it used to be I would go to the Big O. And,
original.
Yep, but it's not there anymore. And then Then after that, I would come up to the Black Beauty, the bar, and you know, have my cigar and talk with the folk before I went on to the hotel. I say all that to say this, though. There's a lot of trauma in that Hill District, right? And one of the things that we've got to begin to I can't say appreciate. One of the things that we've got to begin to recognize and bring resources to bear is that we, you know, when you've got decades of trauma going on, and then you get this huge pandemic to hit you, now the pandemic is bringing out all this additional trauma, right? So now we've got to bring resources to bear, because one time there was a lot of hopelessness. Now the hopelessness, you can't even imagine it. You can't even measure it. So how do we work through that?
Well, you know, some of that is self-inflicted.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, we had the Hill House Association.
Yes.
And that's been a stickler in the Hill District for years.
Okay.
And that's no longer there. It's no longer owned and operated by us.
Yes.
Something had happened, and I was told misappropriation of funds.
Wow.
So that's no longer there.
Got you.
And we're making it easy for gentrification.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, and that's the Hill District is prime property.
Yes, sir.
People could just walk downtown.
Yes, sir.
And walk home.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I truly believe this has been going on for years. It's a plan. It was a plan.
Absolutely.
And you know, but you still have troopers in the Hill District, like Mr. Shout out to Mr. Redwood.
Yes.
And you know, he's still fighting for that cause. But you know what? It's sad to see. I used to work in the Hill District.
Yes.
I mean, you know, my office was in the Hill District until I got transferred.
Yes.
But I used to love walking up the Center Avenue, and my coworkers like, "You going up Center? Yeah, this is where I'm from.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm going to Tom's barbershop, get my hair cut on my break, and come on down, get me some chicken wings, and this, that, and the other." But you know, it's just like it's a transformation, and it's a sad transformation. You know, some would call it progress, but I would say it's a lot of regret.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of regret,
yes, it is.
And I concur with you. it's a sad day in Pittsburgh, but once again, you still have some people who's fighting for the cause.
Well, you've got your first ever African American mayor.
Yeah.
Now have you reached out to him?
I know him personally.
Okay.
And he's trying his best.
Yes.
I support him. I support him full fledged. I remember when when he first started.
Okay.
He went to a historically black college.
Okay.
And him and his wife, they've been sticklers in the community for a long time.
Okay.
And I've heard some good, but I know him.
Yes.
So you can't just say anything. I'll listen. But that doesn't mean, but I seek understanding before I'm understood as well.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And this guy is he's trying his best. But within trying, it's just like any major metropolitan city. You have so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
You have so much crime.
Yes.
And things of that nature. So yeah, he's the first. But I think the deck is stacked against him.
Well, you're talking. Pittsburgh is an old city, and you still
come on, man.
You still got old money there.
Old money,
and you still have to play by their rules, even though they may not live in Pittsburgh, but they still got buildings erected to them. So guess what? You got to play by their rules, right? And they're only gonna allow you to go so far.
Yeah. When I was a young boy, I used to do a social assessment.
Yes.
I used to go downtown.
Yes.
And count black men with suits on downtown.
Yes.
Downtown lunchtime.
Yes.
I could count 2 or 3 on my hand. 2 or 3.
Wow.
Yeah. The whole downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Now we have a black mayor.
Yes.
So that's some progress.
But I'll give you
that's old money for you.
I'll give you one a little different, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I would say probably in the past 7 years, when I would go back to Pittsburgh, right,
okay,
we would try to go downtown Pittsburgh, right, and just grab a drink and grab a cigar. Well, couldn't smoke. You couldn't smoke inside, right? But I can go anywhere in the Hill District, any black-owned business, and I can smoke, drink, light up, wouldn't have a problem. And it just dawned on me that was by design. Let them brothers smoke in their own community, even though it's illegal. We don't care. Just don't bring it down here.
Exactly.
Because I would go to Nats. You know where Nats is, right?
Yeah, I know what Nats is.
I would go to Nats and even when I go back, I try to end one of my evenings going back to Nats. It could be jam packed in that little hole in the wall, and they allow me to smoke my cigars in there. But let me go to another establishment. You can't smoke in here. And it was just the black owned establishments that said either we know what the rule is, but we're gonna let you smoke in here anyway.
Yeah.
No harm. No foul. Yeah.
For you, by you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That FUBU concept.
Yeah, but I think more importantly, keep them in their own neighborhood so we don't have to deal with you when you come down here. And when you come down here, you better act accordingly.
Yeah, I have friends. Yeah, I don't frequent the South Side, but I have friends, younger friends who are colleagues, I should say.
Yes.
And they have problems, hanging out on the South Side. Like their money is not green like other people's money.
Yeah. Because South Side and then the back part of North Side, because I used to live on the North Side, all gentrified now, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
All gentrified. They got the micro brews, they got the bars, they got the beer pubs. You come here, but you're gonna act accordingly.
Without a doubt,
Yeah,
or they're gonna show you something.
Absolutely. And they ain't gonna show you the good part of the city either.
Oh no!
Wow, man, this has been a pleasure, right? So, for anyone who's looking or interested in getting into writing, what would be your first thought that you would share with them?
Just write.
Just write.
Just write.
Just write.
And everything will take care of itself.
Okay. And then,
You know,
how
I mentor a lot of folks. I'm
Yes.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how did you go, once you finished the writing, how did you go about identifying and finding a publisher?
Well, I was smart enough to know that I went to a few publications,
Yes.
and I was smart enough to know not to give up my copyright.
Got you.
And that's the first thing they ask for. Oh, okay, we'll publish your book, but you know, we will need you need to sign over your copyrights for at least 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
That's a no-no. That's
Gotcha.
a no-no.
Gotcha.
So that's why it took me 10 years to start publishing, because no one would divulge that information. So I had to pay for that information. When I paid for my first publication,
Yes.
I learned how to self-publish.
Yes. I was going to ask you.
And then when I learned how to self-publish, I never looked back.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah. So I would recommend, if you want to write a book, start writing.
Yes.
Start writing. That's the first thing. Start writing until you birth, you know, your goal.
Yes.
Then after that, I tell folks, I'll help you self-publish. I'll give you the blueprint, because you know, these folks out here, you have some predatory folks who will charge you enormous amount of money to publish something that you could do on your own.
Yes.
Now you do have, out of the I would say 1,500 people who ask me to help to write a book.
Yes.
I would say at least 4 follow through.
Okay.
Because it's not easy.
Yes.
But you know, name something that's easy,
Very true.
and yeah, that you know I mean, name something that's not easy.
Yes.
That you were successful at.
Yes.
You gain success. Everything is hard. You know, success isn't easy. So you have to put your work in. I don't mind helping folks, but you have to help yourself first. If you want to write a book, write the book.
Yes.
It's easy as that. Write the book, and everything else will fall into place.
Now, do you do the editing if someone were to ask you?
See, I'm a mathematician. I'm not an English major.
Gotcha.
Now, I got a couple gifts, but
Okay, gotcha.
hey, you spot me the T and the H.
Yeah,
I have trouble spelling the. I know my limitations now.
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Yes, sir.
but I know people who would edit your stuff. You know, I still need an editor.
Gotcha.
Because you know, I'm looking at my stuff,
Yes.
but I need my blind spots are there. Trust me.
Yes.
I need someone else to say, hey, put this together, and I focus on it like someone who has a degree in English,
Yes.
or literature, things of that nature, who's good in the concepts of English.
Yes. Gotcha.
So yeah.
Got you. Now, is there anything else you want to share for the listening audience? Edgar, I'm sorry.
Kevin, I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir.
I thank Kevin Smith for recommending me. I would some of my visions are like August Wilson.
Yes.
Transcribing these poems into a play.
Yes.
And putting it into audio format, ballad format, and things of that nature. So that's some of my visions for my art.
Yes.
And I'm gonna definitely keep writing until it's time for the Lord to take me, to the next stages of eternity.
Absolutely. And maybe you can write while you're up there.
Without a doubt. Look,
You have a
give
lot
me a
of
pen and
time.
pad, Lord.
Yeah, you have a lot of time, boy.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the
I'd
next
be so
time,
happy to make it. I'd be so happy to
what?
make it there.
What?
I mean, Lord, whatever you want me to do,
I'm telling
I
you,
got you.
I got you, right?
Yeah.
But you know, like on a real tip though, do you do workshops? Do you ever think about doing workshops? Have you done writing workshops?
I've done
Okay,
workshops. I've won. I was awarded the Western Pennsylvania Office Award,
okay,
and yeah, before COVID, I used to do workshops for them, paid workshops. I did workshops at Allegheny Community College on the north side.
yes,
Yeah, north side campus, other places. Yeah, I have no problem doing that, and I enjoy
gotcha,
uh, doing presentations and workshops.
got you. So listen,
Hmm.
uh, for the listening audience, tell people how they can be in contact with you and how they can follow you.
Okay, you can follow me on Edgar Folks on Instagram, Edgar Folks on Facebook. Uh, you can you can contact me via. Should I give my telephone number?
Yeah, if you want to, man. Yeah.
Yeah, 412-224-0605, or at email eaf5454@gmail.com. Contact me. I'm open for uh, presentations, public speaking, uh, spoken word, things of that nature.
Yes. Yes.
And I can travel.
I know that's right. I know that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So listen, before we conclude, I'm going to ask you to, and I'll give this to you offline. I want you to email me your bio and email me your headshot, and then in your bio, just list again all your contact information as to how somebody can reach out to you and follow you.
yeah. I think I sent that to you,
Okay.
but I'll send it again.
Yeah. Okay? I'll resend my information. Okay, and my request.
Okay, it'll pop up and I'll send it again. Yeah.
Listen, brother, you have been fantastic. Now, listen. Do you want to read one of your poems online right now?
I mean, I can.
Come on, man. I want to listen. I'm trying.
Well, what you want, man? You know, I can get lovey dovey.
No,
I can, you know.
Well, don't get lovey dovey with me.
Hey, look, I'm sure you got women. No, I don't go that route, brother.
I know. Yeah, you know what? Let's go that route. Give me something lovey dovey, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
You're right. I may say that's all from me to you.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll keep it PG 17. Let me see.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
This is from your latest book?
No. I have to pick some from Restoration of Discernment.
Okay.
Let me find
all
some.
right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me
take your time.
look
brother.
in here.
As they say in church, take your time. Take your time.
Take your time. All right. Let me see. Yeah. All right, here's one.
Okay.
This is called Alone with Love.
Yes.
Okay. Says when daylight turns dim and the moon silhouette, when daylight turns dim and the moon silhouette ushers slumbers in, it's me, myself, and no one else. All I can see is future aspirations and my dreams assisting me in a quilt of serenity. In the dark writing, it's the intricacies of my heart. Please hearken unto me, for it's love being set free. given so generously, I suggest you digest every bit of this gifting because it's paradigm shifting. All right, and the foundation of knowledge is receive love of a mate that's assigned to protect your faith. Alone with love. That's the ball right
I
there.
like that, brother. I like that. That's,
You like that?
yeah, that's going to probably get me 10 new women. I can't handle the one I got, but it's gonna get me 10 new women. That's all right, brother. That's all right.
Oh, watch out, man.
You know,
All right, brother.
there was a I'm gonna mess this all the way up. There was a comedian called Pigmeat Markham, and he could not talk to save his life, but his boy was a fantastic poet.
Okay.
And he would get behind the bush, and he would serenade the woman with this poem, but he would mess it up royally. And at one point, his boy told him he said, slow down, I got to turn the page. And that's what he told the woman. He said, slow down, I got to turn the page.
Messed up the whole poem.
Messed up the whole poem. I was like, oh man, he said, don't say that. He said, don't say that, say this. And that's exactly what he said. That's my man. That was the first album, right? Remember when we used to have the house parties, the basement parties, right?
Come on, man. Slow Dragon and I know the recipe.
And your parents had the Richard Pryor album, right?
Oh.
And so you would play a slow song and then the Richard Pryor song, right? So I would play a slow song in Pigmeat Markham, which was, and a lot of Richard Pryor stuff came from Pigmeat Markham, because that was, or Mom's Mabley. Oh my God! Yeah, right.
Or Red Fox.
Or Red Fox. Come on, yeah. Brother Edgar, listen, man. Nothing but continued success, continued blessings. Platform is always open to you, man. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And
I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm going to make it my business. The next time I'm in Pittsburgh, you're going to be my third stop. After that, well, I can't go to, you might be my second or first stop after that. Well, I can't even go to the O anymore.
Hey, I got and I'll have a signed book for you, brother.
Got you, brother. We'll talk in text in a minute, beloved. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Peace, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.